I was saying I didn't even know the summit was happening, and it's pretty much wrapping up right now. I feel like we haven't really been paying attention. And so I will ask you to sort of set the stage. What is the current status of the relationship between China and Saudi Arabia?
Saudi Arabia has teased that it could perhaps start selling its oil in yuan to those Chinese buyers. Do you going to see oil priced in yuan as this strategic pivot across the region and China's push into the American sphere of influence continues?
I think it's already happening, and I wrote about it a lot in my book, De-Dollarization.
This afternoon, the Secretary General and Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, will witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding on a strategic partnership between the UN and the World Economic Forum, which outlines areas of cooperation to deepen engagement between the two institutions and to jointly accelerate the implementation of the 2030 agenda.
John, talk us through some of the deals, the strategic agreements that have been reached on this trip.
So what we know so far is that President Xi Jinping has expressed a willingness for China to increase its collaboration with Saudi Arabia in terms of energy. So that includes buying more oil from Saudi, but also it includes signing some agreements when it comes to solar, when it comes to hydrogen. Obviously, the world is moving away from carbon-based fuels, and Saudi Arabia is no different. It's the Crown Prince has been trying to wean the economy off of its dependence on oil, and China has been leading in many ways the global effort to move to renewables. So that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, it's interesting because this comes on the heels of a bit of a spat between Saudi Arabia and the United States over OPEC plus Russia and the output of oil on the global market.
In a way, it seems very reactionary, but at the same time, when you're talking about harmonizing Vision 2030 and China's Belt and Road Initiative, how much of a long-term commitment is this?
Obviously, I think both these countries, both Saudi Arabia and China, have an eye for the future. We are sort of at a point of transition, not only in terms of energy, but obviously the global environment, the sort of increasing rivalry between the United States and China, the multipolar world that we're increasingly living in. And I think both countries are looking to the future and trying to plan out or map out how best to go about laying out or building the sort of world they want to see. Obviously, China trying to increase its influence around the world through Belt and Road, and Saudi Arabia trying to increase its place in the world beyond just energy through its 2030 vision plan.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
That's right, guys. The CBS reporter says she didn't even know that the meeting with China and Saudi Arabia, probably the most important meeting in about 50 years, was going on. And guys, we know the masses didn't know either, and they definitely don't care. But we know the 2030 agenda has been moved up. We know the fourth industrial revolution is right around the corner. And we know the new world reserve currency is the digital yuan. We see the world reserve currency, the United States dollar, is definitely falling. And we know it's being orchestrated by the NWO. Remember, guys, they caused the problem, wait for the reaction, and run in with the solution. And we're just waiting on one more crisis, so then therefore they could bring on the robots, algorithms, and drones to take over the economy, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep are going inside the metaverse. And we know the Crypto Teacher wrote about it a long time ago in the NWO book. But over these next 2 years, we're going to be going through some trying times in the United States. And there's going to be a lot of distractions. And do not fall for the devil's tricks. And we know over the last 2 years, we have definitely been in a movie. And I gave out a certificate to those in my Patreon congratulating you for getting past the mental war. And I'm letting you know over the next 2 years, it's going to get worse. And I give you the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. But when I give you the truth, you hate me. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
but it sounds harmless. It's only Agenda 21. Yeah, go look this one up, because it's not so harmless. And it really, can I tell you something? You have to dig pretty deep into this thing. I mean, because look at all this. It doesn't get spooky until about here. Just section 1. Social and economic dimensions, which talks about the redistribution of wealth, changing consumption patterns, promoting health, I love this one, change population, and sustainable settlement. That's good. Then a little later, when it talks about the redistribution of wealth, which we all love, quote, developed countries and funding agencies should provide specific assistance to developing countries in adopting an enabling approach to the provision of shelter for all. So that's like guaranteed housing. Well, that's going to be great because the government's going to own all of our houses anyway because we're all going broke because of this. Reading through the pages, it becomes clear sustainable development is just a really nice way of saying centralized control over all of human life on planet Earth. That doesn't sound bad.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
This afternoon, the Secretary General and Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, will witness the signing of a memorandum of understanding on a strategic partnership between the UN and the World Economic Forum, which outlines areas of cooperation to deepen engagement between the two institutions and to jointly accelerate the implementation of the 2030 agenda.
Something else going on here, nothing to do with Donald Trump. We're in the middle of what other people call the fourth industrial revolution. Is there going to be middle class where, Moore's Law, the IT, the way we're walking, artificial intelligence? Look what's happened with all the retail jobs that got lost because of Amazon. Now people go to Amazon, and so all across the country, a couple 100,000 people lost their jobs. And people are worried. Truck drivers I talked to are saying, well, they're going to automate trucking. I know, and I'm not going to have a job.
So we are very eager to hear from you. The fourth industrial revolution has one big challenge. It is the holding out of the middle class, which is a pillar of our democracies. So, topic, and Dr. Schwab, I'm flattered you'd asked me to keynote. There's an expression in my old neighborhood back in the United States. This may be above my pay grade. It's not above yours, though. You've written extensively on the topic that you've asked me to speak to, mastering the fourth industrial revolution. This fora defines that as change fueled by a digital revolution.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.